My imagination goes crazy when I think about what it would be like to go to sleep right now, be locked up in a cave or something, and wake up in 78,000 years. What would the world be like? Will humans even be left on the planet? Will the planet even be left? What would it really be like? No, I'm not talking about reality. I'm talking about my imagination, because the real world would be a paradise for sure. But if there was no God, and you woke up in 78,000 years, what would you wake up to? And that's where my story is going to begin. Um, there are these people who put themselves in suspension. I kind of got this from Wayward Pines. And suspension for 78,000 years. They wake up in the middle of a mountain because it's the safest place to be. You don't want to be by the ocean. You don't know what's going to happen to the wave tides and stuff like that. But a mountain's pretty secure for about 78,000 years. And they have enough supplies to last them, a year. And so when they put themselves in suspension, they were in a world where they were the curious ones. They said, I don't want to keep living in this world. It's 40 hours, 40-week world. We want to go into the future, into 78,000 years now, and we have the technology to do that, to freeze ourselves and put us in suspension for that amount of time. We have enough energy. We're using energy that is self-sustaining. So the time comes for them to wake up in the mountain. Wake up and they're in a perfectly controlled environment, and it's clean but they haven't been outside in 78,000 years. So what will they find out there? This is where the story gets a little bit interesting. I'm telling a story. Well, I don't want to yell. Um, so they get to the door, and they get ready to open the door, and they have no idea what they're going to find. And they open it, and it's beautiful out there, just beautiful. Everything is gorgeous and well arranged, and they're actually greeted. What had happened is they had become a legend in time. There were books written about these people who locked themselves up in a cave, only to let themselves out after 78,000 years. So there was this legend. People knew it was true because there was this lock on the door, and they knew not to go in, or it would undo their ability to do this. And they were the only ones that did this. Come to find out, throughout the years, there were other people who locked themselves up for 78,000 years, or off into the future, wherever they chose. So they had fans. These fans came from the future of 70,000 years into the future, and these people used no technology. They had become the generation that no longer uses technology, no longer even speaks. Everything is communicated through body movement. Body gave signs of whether things were what they wanted to say as far as emotions went, and as far as ideas went, they would draw them out. They didn't really speak them. I mean, they could use language. It just was so unnecessary to use language. Language just could not define what they were feeling or seeing or hearing. So they used a lot of drawing, and just by looking at a person, looking in their eyes, you could really get the emotion that they were trying to convey. And that's how far they had evolved to. Clothing, they had simplified their clothing. They weren't into fashion. The art that they were into, though, was designing, being able to design beautiful structures to go into and eat. They loved to eat. Eating was a special and sacred thing that they did. They did it with each other. They thanked the creator for their food, and their food was artwork. That's something that they did not keep simple. They didn't keep their food simple or their surroundings simple. Their gardens were beautiful and imaginative. The gardens are just beyond compare. And the other thing they did with their ability to create was they were able to now communicate with the animals. So all the animals, none of them were used for food. They were used for enjoyment, watching them play with each other. Some of them were used for helping them garden, but most of them were just there for pure enjoyment of the animals. What a great place to wake up to. It really was paradise. And they had cured all the illnesses. There was no more cancer, no more. So some of these people that had waken up from their suspension, who had those rare diseases, were able to be cured immediately. Some of the people that were sleeping were actual paraplegics, and they were able to be cured from their that problem. These people were people of science and nature and loving. They had cured war. There was no more war, no more hunger, no more pain, no more anything. It wasn't even any more evil. So these people had never seen a place like that. So they still had imperfection in their brains. They were still had some of those thoughts, and they had to be processed. And so that's where the story begins, is the processing department, where imagine yourself waking up 78,000 years from now in a perfect world, and you're the only one that's not perfect. You're the one who's, and when I say perfect, I mean hate, sickness, greed. For those of you who think perfection's boring, there's nothing boring about this place. They have a concert every night. They have the most fabulous imaginative food possible on the planet. They have made the most imaginable gardens. The boats that they've made are luxurious and beautiful, and they fit in with nature. So they can go on a cruise for years and years and years and not come back till they're ready to come back to land. And they can travel the world. And their homes, if they want to live on the land, their homes are so imaginative and beautiful and unique. Each one is so unique from the last one. You're just like, wow. You want to live in all of them. So the greed and selfishness and all that has to be rooted out, but it can't be rooted out from without. These people can't take it out of you. That's the one thing they don't do. You still have free will. And those problems that are deep within you are things that you have to decide on your own you want to get rid of. And the only way you can get rid of them is by immersing yourself with people who have gotten rid of those qualities themselves. And the people who want to hold on to those qualities, is the only way to keep those qualities is by hanging out with people like that. So out of the 2,000 people that are now being taken out of suspension, they have a choice to make. You know, are we going to hold on to greed? And so this story evolves around how some still believe that selfishness and greed and pain and war are still a way to survive. And they want to stick to that, and they don't want to give those beliefs up. And at first, all of them might feel that way. They feel like, oh, these guys are all brainwashed. These guys are all like a cult or something. They're all so happy. They're all so content. This isn't right. This isn't how life should be. There should be some drama. There should be some pain. There should be some. How am I going to grow if I'm not having pain? They hold it on to that concept that somehow pain makes you stronger, that bad things make the good things better. And so being able to either drop it or move on with it, and how the people of the new planet react to their reaction. Now, the people coming out of the mountain do have weapons, and for good reason. They didn't know what they were going to come out to. A bunch of a bunch of aliens taking over the earth, and they would need to be safe, or what? They didn't know, and they still don't know. They see all this beautiful stuff. They're witness to all this beautiful stuff, and they still don't know. They're still wondering: is this a dream? Are these aliens? I mean, what is going on here? So their journey into this planet of beauty and goodness and righteousness, they still are having a hard time with that. So the people of the earth decide, well, let's set up schools for them. Let's give them their own home, their own little farm. All we ask them is do no harm. Do no harm. Don't eat your pig. Don't eat your spider, etc. Don't hurt anyone. You can have all those ideas in your head that you might want to hurt somebody because you're just sick of the niceness, or you're sick of the colors, or you're sick of this or that, or you just crave a hamburger. You can have those thoughts. Don't act on them, because we won't let you stay here if you do. We'll have to put you someplace back in suspension or someplace else until you're ready to be peaceful. So that's where my story is going to go, with these people here and now wondering, what direction do I want to go? Do I want to create chaos so I can have the kind of world I came from, which I hated? But it's familiar. Or do I want to learn peaceful ways of these foreign people who seem nothing like the people we left behind? I mean, I wonder what you would do if you were in that situation. Would you be able to fit in with perfection and enjoy it? Or would you feel like, I need bad things to happen to me to feel good about myself? All right, that's the end of the story for today. Talk to you later. Bye.